Here we are laying out our roll of fabric. This is then cut into two pieces, which will serve the two main body panels. The width of this piece does need to be cut down. So in this picture, we're cutting off that side. Now we have three pieces, two side panels and one larger square that is going to become the Batwing Doors. Here I'm drawing the lines to cut off two sides, and then this next picture I'm splitting that finished piece in half and then cutting a diagonal through each of those rectangles. So this is the finished part. This is my sewing machine and the table. It's not ideal, it's not a very big table, but it's what we had, and the round edges actually I thought helped because it didn't catch on the fabric at all, not that the silk nylon is going to catch on anything. This is the finished first flat felled seam. This is to join the two body panels together. This video is just a quick example on some scrap pieces of how to do the flat felled seam. Here I am cutting out two triangular pieces to serve as reinforcement points for either side of the tarp. This is finished flat felled seam of the tarp. The first step is to hem the reinforcement patches. This is a rolled hem. I attach the reinforcement patch onto the tarp just along the perimeter, but leaving the end of the tarp unsewn. Here is the batwing underneath the main body. I'm preparing to do a flat felled seam there. The end corner of the batwing has to be cut off before completely sewing along the edge of the tarp. Here's the finished seam adjoining the main body panel with the batwing, and the reinforcement patch is now completely sewn in. I'm measuring out the included webbing for the pull-out loops. I chose to cut mine with my improvised hot knife, which is a soldering iron, which I do use for soldering, but I have a very large tip that I ground down to a chisel point. That worked really well to both cut and heat seal the edges of the webbing. Once they are cut, I started with the Ridgepole Loop, and this is folded on both sides. This is a longer piece that's going to be sewn into the seam of the body panels. All the webbing loops are sewn at the end with 3 lines of at least double stitching. Here I'm preparing to sew in the Ridgepole Loop, and that is sewn in with 3 or 4 lines of stitching. This video is a simple rolled hem on the perimeter of the tarp and the batwings. Here's the finished corner of the batwing and tarp. This is one of the side pull loops that are attached to the rolled hem. The lifter patches are sewn out of a heavier nylon, and the two options are to cut a slit in for the cordage. I chose to sew in buttonholes to reinforce those cut edges. I purchased some cord on Amazon that was blue with reflective strands throughout. It is somewhat thin cordage, but it is similar to what Ray provided in his kits. Here I am sealing the seams with McNett's Sill Net, which is on the order form on Ray's website along with the kits. Sally is definitely enjoying helping me out. This is the finished tarp, and the total build time was around 20 hours. If you would like to see a little video of the tarp, please reference our 2017 BWCAW Trip, which is linked in the description below.